Here's the contenders for the 2019 Masters Snooker Shot of the Championship. But which one did you think was the best shot? Did you agree with Stephen Hendry's decision? And how much of a challenge is it to attempt to recreate these epic shots? This is Break From Life. Welcome back, and if it's your first time watching one of our videos, then it's fantastic to have you here. I'm going to be working out how to play these shots so I can see exactly how difficult they really are. I'm just setting up the first shot now. Now if you're wondering about the order I'm going to play them in, I'm just going to be playing them in the order that I think is the most straightforward for myself to play. By those rules, I'm going to start with Judd Trump powering a blue into the middle pocket. I mean, bashing it around 3 cushions, how hard can it be?
Judd Trump blue into the middle. Great cue power, Judd Trump, but he's just got this great way. He doesn't seem to hit the ball hard and get so much movement on the cue ball.
So let's get the balls in the right place so I can give this a go. That looks about right. This shot is all about using topspin with a trace of side. The more side you put on this shot, the further back down the table the cue ball will come. Unfortunately, the problem with this is you've got to get it round the bulk colours. If you use more than a small amount of side spin on a shot like this, you'll end up colliding with the yellow. So all the cue ball speed has to be generated by topspin and raw power, and it's very difficult when you're using both of those together not to strike the cue ball too low and cause you to play a stun shot. So why can't I quite get it right? Nearly had it that time. It turns out I'm not bashing it the way Judd played it, I'm more spinning it, but it's really difficult to do because these cushions are nowhere near as fast as they are on TV. So is this shot more difficult than I expected? Wasn't expecting it to be this difficult, to be honest with you. So close to the cushion and a little bit straight, it's really difficult to get the power on it like this. Especially when you've got to avoid the yellow. Yeah, not like that. One thing was becoming clear: if I really wanted to play this shot, I couldn't rely on my technique alone. I had to forget my technique and start throwing my body at it a bit more. Probably the worst piece of advice we've given out on this channel, and this is a channel that's advised people to shine laser beams in their eyes via very reflective reds. However, the body lunge was beginning to pay off. Had to utilise a lot of topspin here, and I didn't think the cushions on my table would be fast enough to allow me to play it. Wow. But how difficult was this shot? Wow, was that a lot harder to play than I thought it was going to be. The real difficult bit is not putting too much side on it and hitting the yellow. Judd absolutely bashed it when he played it. The blue almost jumped out of the pocket. I was finding I had to spin it more, but I was really happy with the action I actually got on it. On to the next one then. Akash is the second person we've noticed watching our videos from Bangalore, India. Next up is Ding's awesome deadweight snooker.
Junhui, second round against Luca Brecel, 42 points behind, cue ball's down here in the baulk area. Not only does he suss out the shot, the way he hits the cue ball so pure and drops the cue ball in behind the brown, gets the snooker and ends up winning the frame.
This shot's all about touch, straight cueing and having the bottle to just go and play it. My table being fairly level really helped here because there's some local club tables that I really wouldn't fancy playing this shot on. I'd be really interested to know if you think this is the sort of shot you'd be confident playing in a match, especially when one small mistake could lose you the game. Unlike the previous one, that was actually a lot more straightforward than I thought it was going to be, although I think there's no way I would actually have played it right first time. John Odihajijo is watching, and he comes from Surabaya, Indonesia. How many of you knew where that was? I've been using little bits of chalk to help me mark any balls I think might move, but for this shot I've needed a lot more chalk.
Luca Brecel, first match against Mark Allen, the defending champion, a man in form. It's 5-all. Mark Allen breaks off. He's got Luca in all sorts of trouble. There's no safety shot on, and there doesn't look even a pot on. Any pot is fraught with danger.
Just like the previous shot, this is a pressure shot with the consequence if you miss it you could very easily lose the game, and in a deciding frame as this was you could lose the entire match. I find having no idea of where the cue ball's going to go makes a shot even more difficult.
I think this just shows how difficult it is to accurately lash out at a shot under pressure.
Didn't realise until I started editing these videos that I think Luca played this shot with a trace of right hand side to help him get through the pack. Let me know in the comments if you think he did.
Really difficult one to play accurately with that much power, and I actually haven't played it as hard as Luca, that's why I didn't get the same result.
Quick shout out to Spot On, who comes from Fez in Morocco.
I'm a bit worried about this one actually. Got to judge the speed and the side spin exactly right. Could be here for a while with this.
Trump doesn't play many great safety shots. He's not renowned for it. Normally great long pots and great cue power, but this is one of the best snookers we've seen all week.
This is just a ridiculously hard shot to play, as you'll begin to understand when I start to explain all the various things you have to do to get it right. To start off with, you have to play the red slightly uncomfortably thin, which wouldn't be too bad if you didn't have to play it with a trace of right hand side. The right hand side's necessary to bring it off the top cushion at the right angle to get it back through the gap between the blue and pink. And because you're playing with side spin, you've got to get the pace exactly right or it will ruin the entire shot.
Just as I thought, it's really tough even just to avoid these reds.
I haven't even yet mentioned getting the cue ball behind the brown. There's a little tiny gap between the brown and the side cushion, and you've got to play it exactly at the right pace to get it to finish there. Then probably you need the correct bump off the jaw, just as Judd got, to get it to finish tight in behind the brown. Honestly, I think I'd have a good chance of getting the cue ball safe probably 2 out of 3 times, but to get anywhere near the brown is probably 1 in 1,000 shot for me.
Ridiculously close just there. Basically, if I get a snooker and part of it's behind the brown, I'm calling that as done.
I think it's fair to say that just by playing this shot alone, Judd deserved to win the tournament. He was so precise and accurate that week that he almost never seemed to be digging himself out of trouble, and as this shot shows, when a tough shot did arrive, he was more than equal to it almost every single time.
Personally, I'm calling it as close enough. I'm calling it as a fail because I don't think that's good enough, but I could be here all day and never get that right.
We've got Danny Rawlings from Ipswich in the UK.
Not many players in the game would be able to play this shot that the Australian played. Neil Robertson cued this to perfection. You could see him striking right down on the white ball.
I think it's fair to say that most people don't have the cue power to play this shot.
Now, I'm one of the many people as well on the planet who doesn't possess the cue power to be able to play this shot. So I'm just going to see, when I pot it, how far I can get the cue ball back.
Play any shot like this, you've got to strike the cue ball very accurately, as close to the bottom of the cue ball as you can get it. It also requires a brilliant technique. You've got to be able to deliver the cue incredibly fast while staying very, very still. If you watch Neil Robertson do this, you'll see he hardly moves when he plays the shot. Unfortunately, to generate the cue power I needed, I had to resort to the same as shot 1 and start lunging at the shot, and this did work a bit. I actually managed to pull it back about 1.5 feet, which is really not that bad on such a difficult shot like this. And if you want to find out more about how to cue in snooker, then try our video Snooker How to Cue. It's in the card right now and on the Break From Life channel page, along with a load of other videos that help you dominate the game and make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel. Just like Cameron Hunt has done. And he's from Coventry in the UK.
So after doing all that, what do I think was the best shot? Chalk one bit away.
Well, Stephen Hendry gave it to Neil Robertson, and I'm not surprised because technically it's the hardest shot to play, unless you're Neil Robertson. I think you have to give credit to Ding and Luca for pulling out those 2 awesome shots exactly when they were needed. From what I learned attempting all of these shots, is by far the best one was Judd Trump's snooker behind the brown. But what do you think? I'll leave a link to a poll in the description where you can vote for your favourite and discuss absolutely anything about the 2019 Masters. I'll let you know about the results as soon as I get them. If you want to find out more about how to play snooker, then try our video Snooker Learn Basic Techniques Quickly. Or if you want to find out more about how to aim in snooker, then try our video Snooker Aiming Techniques versus 8-ball pool. And remember, don't just watch, play, and make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel. See you later.